Hello, guys, and welcome to the South Asia Championship League powered by LG UltraGear. We are in season 2 of this amazing tournament and in the quarterfinal stage, mind you. And today we have an exciting best of 3 match between Written in Blood on the blue side for game 1 versus Deimos Force on the red side. Joining me today is my co-caster CA. And CA, are you excited for this matchup? Because you already know Deimos Force, but Written in Blood is one of those teams who've been in the mid tier of the pack, so to speak, but now they've finally been able to get out of the group stage, so to speak, and now they're facing like against one of the top teams in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing two really hungry teams here in Deimos Force. One who just came off the finals of season one, and they weren't really up to what they would consider their mark. So they're going to be hungry to get back to the finals and prove themselves. Whereas, as you said, Written in Blood, it's one of their first times making it to the playoff stages of this cup, and they're going to want to make it as far as they possibly can. So tell me more about Written in Blood, right? Like, what are you expecting from them? We know what we can expect from Damus Force. We know who to look out for. Who are you looking out for in Written in Blood?
In Written in Blood, I actually think Classical is one of the players that if he is on his main champs, now the guy has a few champs that he plays, but when he plays those champs, he plays really well. Azir is one of them, mind you, CS. So very interesting to see that the focus was more on Incarnation, who again is the other player to watch in this team. So Incarnation, the fact that his J4 and Kazakhs are being banned out, that's two of his most played champions, is interesting because now Classical gets the Azir pick, which I'm sure Demos Force will be expecting because Classical plays, these 3 to 4 champs really well, and he's gotten that one of them right now. So this already becomes an interesting game because he's shown the ability to carry for his team on that one particular pickup. So for me, it's going to be Classical and Incarnation as the players to watch, but everyone else is also equally important and they do their part. But having said that, CA, just because they gave away the Azir means Draxler gets on his ultimate comfort pick. That's the Trundle.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Because I was about to ask, like, I was a little surprised to. I was expecting a Trundu pick coming out, but they did it coming out as the first pick. I was a little bit surprised about because like Trundu is kind of a champion that you can counter, but I do understand, especially as a jungle player myself, how important comfort can be. Like Trundle is one of those champions that you can easily get value out of. But as I was saying, right, the Kane is such a good matchup into Trundle. If you get Rast off really early, Trundle just sorts of cries for the rest of the matchup.
Yeah, and the fact that they've picked a Trundle without any tanks being picked up just shows that give this guy, give Draxler Trundle. He's very comfortable. But what it also does is allows Ash to be picked up by Grixis. And Grixis has shown time and time again he's a brilliant Ash player, can land the DPS and the ultimate. The Syndra is also up. And again, like 9mm, or Savage as he was once known when he was part of Demos Force Rio, shifted to the main squad for Demos Force, is an amazing Syndra player. And a Syndra into Nazir matchup, walk with me a bit about, see, how do you think that goes out in terms of lane?
So in terms of lane, it's definitely Syndra who has the priority, but it all depends on the early like level 3 to level 6 area where the junglers have the most impact, right? That now that I've seen the Syndra, it makes much more sense to see a Trundle because the Trundle wants the priority lanes on both sides, so he's able to dominate the river because irrespective of how big a counter you pick into Trundle, he's gonna dominate the early duels into you because he's really strong with him being able to steal your attack damage. So this syndrome makes perfect sense. But later, when Azir is able to get his Nash's suit, his Leandris, and extra items, he's gonna be able to output much more DPS in a team fight.
Exactly, and the fact that we're going to see a very exciting mid lane matchup right now is honestly for me the thing to watch in this game. The fact that you have two really amazing players on a very very comfortable champion for themselves, really high level skills as high skill level players. So that for me is going to be really exciting, and you can see the bans come out. Rinks' top lane is getting banned out. The Nautilus getting banned out as well for good measure because it does really well into the Ash. The Braum, a smart ban indeed, because Braum Ash in that sense also is pretty good in that lane. So I like the bans coming out from both the teams right now. The top laners are left to be picked, and I'm 100% positive that Deimos Force will take that for the counter pick. Note that Turby is actually the one playing top this game, guys. So the IK Vango is actually going to be playing support, and as expected, Leona for our boy Aikil Bango, that is one of his champs that he likes to play. Which means now Written in Blood will have to respond back. They have banned out the Morgana on their side, so there's not a lot of options. He
I
actually
think,
can go for Thresh right here because he
yeah.
likes to play Thresh a lot. Mahakal or Abdo Rising, as we like to call him, is a great Thresh player. Thresh can soft counter Leona with his Flare. So overall, a good picker coming out right there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Thresh or Alistar if he plays that would be the perfect matchup. Man, please, he seems to be baiting us with this Timo. I would love to see a Timo, but like fill me in on this. I don't think Timo is gonna happen. Mundo, on the other hand, while it makes perfect sense for the team comp, I personally am really scared of seeing a Mundo picked
I
into a
wouldn't pick
Trundle.
that into. I wouldn't even pick a Maokai.
Oh
Like,
God,
oh lord.
a
I
Trundle
mean,
just
we could have just
handing
picked.
Trundle.
Yeah, they could have just picked Set here because now that they've picked Maokai is going to build tank, suddenly Trundle has an option to use someone to beef himself up.
Yep.
And Maokai blind pick into what Termi can bring ahead in this composition is going to be scary. Termi has played Aatrox. There's a lot of different picks that he can play. I'm curious because Termi is a mid lane player, right? So he can even play those mid lane champions top if he has to. And
Oh,
Termi chooses Darius, which is
kind of
very, very good into the Maokai in the early game. And that's going to be such a horrible lane for Rings right there on that Maokai. Talk me through that matchups here.
I mean, I feel bad for Rinks in general. He's gonna have a horrible lane matchup, and he's gonna be like, "It's okay, guys. I'm losing. I'm building tank. Oh wait, no, I'm building tank to make someone else on their team tanky. Oh no!" But like as he goes later into the game, Trundle's just gonna steal his tankiness. He's gonna be the squishy tree who just gets dunked every single fight. So like this is gonna be really unfortunate for him.
Exactly, and I feel like now if you look at the lanes already, top lane is a very winning matchup. Bot lane, I would say, is around about even, and so is the mid lane. I feel the Syndra will have early game pressure. So now Rinks is going to be in trouble because you know for a fact that Draxler is going to come top. Tori might not even need him to come top because of how strong the matchup is. I'm curious to see if he takes Ghost or chooses to go teleport. But I still like the composition as a whole. If Rings can come out of the laning phase like 10, 20 CS behind, but can still get his items, does not allow the Darius to snowball out of control, then this is a possibility for them to scale really well into the late game as well. Because Maokai will be hard to kill. Azir has a lot of damage, and the Caitlyn is going to be a late game monster too. So what do you think? In terms of a scaling advantage, do you feel like both the teams have tools in their arsenal to play late, or do you feel that it's sort of favored towards one team?
Um, Objectively, I think it's sort of favored towards Written in Blood, but that's where like the entire composition of Deimos Force, you look at it and you realize that they're playing for the early mid game and the mid game area. They're gonna want to force the early dragons, force the early soul point, force the early skirmishes in the river, so that they're able to use their carries, their power points. Like Ash Leona level 6 is absolutely insane. Caitlyn Thresh are supposed to do slightly better in lane, especially with the buff to Caitlyn recently where she got the extra 2 AD, base AD, they do better in lane. But if you just allow the Ash Leona to reach level 6, they're just both gonna press R on Caitlyn and kill her. So like it's all about the early mid game, the objectives and the dragon fights and the Rift Herald fights for Davis Force here.
Yeah, and not to mention when the last time 9mm aka Savage played Syndra, I mean, he went 18-0-2 or
Oof.
something like that in the group stages of the SSCL tournament season 2. So this guy is no slouch in the Syndra. I feel like not banning him was could be a mistake that they might end up paying for. But you know what? It's going to be up to Classical on that Azir. He has his main champ. I have personally played with him a lot. I have seen him carry rank games and even some competitive games on that champion, but he needs to scale. Right, the Caitlyn is strong early, but will have a flat mid game. Incarnation on that Kane is going to be pivotal as well. If he could be the one to go after the Ash and kill him, if he manages to do that, then yes, there are ways that Return Blood can definitely win out these team fights. In terms of draft, except for the top lane disparity, I feel it's pretty much even Steven across every other lane. So, we have a game on our hands here, and for me as well, seeing Termi playing top, now he is a mid lane main, but he does play Darius. Seeing him play that, seeing the kind of pressure he can exert, will be something to watch. In the bot lane as well, like Crixus has been one of the stellar AD carries off the scene for a really long time. He's known to, you be pivotal and clutch on his Ashe ultimates as well. So level 6 onwards, you could see, Trundle coming bot. There could be a gang coming on Reckless Jr. and Mahakal. So it really depends on how they play the laning phase, right? Because we have seen enough of Deimos Force as a team, and the Return in Blood. They're it's the first time they've reached the quarterfinals of the SACL in the 2 seasons that we've had. So they have a lot to prove, and game one is going to be really important because this will set the standard for how the series will go. Remember, guys, it is a best of three. You guys are watching the South Asia Championship League powered by LG UltraGear. As CA, we head into the loading screen, and do you see any sort of level one shenanigans coming out from either of these teams?
I mean, I think Deimos first have the onus here. Like I think Written and Blood are just gonna simply be they're gonna want to just calm themselves down and try to get to this Azir's power points, because as you look at this composition, I realize that the biggest thing lacking for Deimos Force is range, right? Azir and Caitlyn both are able to just sort of step back and continuously output damage, and that's what Written and Blood are gonna look for. They're gonna look for extended fights as compared to the Deimos Force, where they want to use their ultimates and they just want to end the fight within a time period of like 10-15 seconds. So it's going to be, for me, all about this Kayn and this Azir. If Caitlyn Thresh can actually win lane, it would be huge for them. Top is basically like, you can just write it off for the Written in Blood. So the Kayn Azir is where the swing comes in for me. If Kayn and Azir are able to do really well, they're going to win the game. If they're not, then it's going to be a really quick game.
Interesting to see that both the mid and AD carries have gone for cleanse. This is mostly against the Ash ult, the Leona stuns, or the Syndra. And that's pretty nice to see. They're giving them that level of respect. As
Yeah,
we,
yeah, for sure.
yep, let me
Yeah.
change my loading screen one sec.
It's also going to be really interesting for me to see how they approach the mental aspect of this game for Return in Blood, because both the teams, like if you think about it, um, on one hand, like we see that Reckless Junior is acknowledging the amount of CC they have, and goes with the cleanse, same for Azir. So it's all about protecting their carries for them. But on the other hand, the Syndra can just choose which of the carries to kill, press R, and then that carry is dead, right? So it's for Written in Blood, it's going to be an extremely difficult comp to execute, because for them it's all about disengage, about taking the better fights. When Deimos Force want to, they have to just step back and try not to fight at that time. Whereas for Deimos Force, it's going to be, we want to fight, so we're going to fight, and they know how good they are when they are engaging the fight by themselves. So I think Deimos Force is going to come into this game with slightly more confidence, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Deimos Force, exactly like you said, that they are the team that loves to fight. They are also the team that just has a lot of experience playing together and have always been like the top two. There's a meme that goes around, DF is the best number two team that we've seen because in all the tournaments that they've played, they've always managed to come second. So, never write them off, no matter what happens, like how Liquid used to keep coming fourth in LCS, DF keeps coming second. So I'm very confident that they will definitely take that meme ahead in this game as well. But I'm looking forward to upsets. And for me, that's what we're here for. League of Legends, the underdog story, Written in Blood are definitely the underdogs. Make no mistake in this game. But sometimes the underdogs can win, guys. So let's see if you guys are also rooting for the underdogs as we are having a very small delay as people just want to reconnect, make sure the pings are fine. Um, and yeah, it sounds pretty cool at this point. And CA man, have you looked at those Spirit Blossom events and stuff? Like I'm enjoying them a lot. Nexus Blitz as well seems pretty fun as a game.
Yeah, I just got in a game of Nexus Blitz yesterday, and damn, I'm so happy that they're finally bringing back these random game modes. Because personally, as a player who used to play a lot of League for the last 2 years, and like I haven't got to play much League because I'm one of those spoiled brats who likes the 50, 60, 30 ping. I came from Canada and I used to live right next to my server, and I used to have like 20, 30 ping, 40 maximum with bad weather. So like I really like playing games for fun now, and it sort of inspired me to get back into ranked. I've been playing a lot of Volibear and Nocturne, which I wanted to mention. Like, I'm really surprised that Volibear just passed through the entire champion select phase. He seems to be a really strong champion, but I understand why these teams may not want to focus on sort of the beefy style, because on the side of Deimos Force, of course the comfort comes in. Oh, but look at this. all five of them one spot.
Yeah, do see the invade happening, and honestly, like this is a great thing for them to do because they need to find some cheese. If they're able to get some sort of a gank happen or a kill happen, that's just momentum, right? And in these kind of games, often it's the momentum that gets you to the win, right? If you feel that, hey, you know what, these are not gods, these are mortals. You know, Mahakal's going for that threshold. Never mind, gets spotted out. All my hype goes down the drain. They just
Yeah,
back
I mean,
away like nothing ever happened.
it's a very good indication of their mental right here, though, that they're already going for these plays. They're not getting bowed down by the fact that they're playing against a team who has been to, as you said, so many finals in multiple tournaments over the years. They're not. They're just going to play a game of League of Legends. They're not going to think about who they're playing or how they're playing or like where they're playing,
Yep,
and
and
that's really key.
Termi has my favorite Darius skin. Dunkmaster Darius definitely has the smoothest animation. I used to have God King Darius, but then the moment I got like Dunkmaster, I'm like, you know what, like chuck this Dunkmaster is the jam. And look at this classicals already, like positioning so aggressively. I really like that because he definitely wants to prove he's one of those players see who hasn't played competitive a lot, but has always been great in solo queue. Consistently gets diamonds season on season. Is like a one trick Syndra or like two trick probably Syndra, Azir, LeBlanc, and he's gotten a chance to play his Azir. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this pans out as both the junglers seem to have started on the bot side of the map.
I just want to pick out something you said that I'm really interested in. You said one trick Syndra Azir LeBlanc. So like that's a champion that I really like into like a lot of champions people end up playing in the mid lane, like mages, or also like stable carries. LeBlanc can just sort of take over the game. Of course, in this game, it's all about classical getting to the late game stage. But I want to think about what could happen if Deimos force just sort of end up trampling over them. Maybe you want to give more agency in the early game to classical next game, pull out his LeBlanc.
Yep, level 2 reached by both the bot laners seems to be going fine. Meanwhile, on the top side, Darius is trying to push the wave out, and Rinkush is trying to freeze this as much as he can. And that's actually not bad from him because if he can keep the wave on his side, it's fine. Meanwhile, a hook does land onto I Killed Van Gogh and a nice bit of poke coming out. So, small bits of trade here and there, but let's talk about jungle pathings here. Both the junglers are on the top side of the map right now.
Yeah, I like the fact that the Kane took the Raptors along with it. That's something that's really important about Kane for me. Like he's able to clear, like he's going to be at 24 CS with much more health than Trundle is going to be, but he's going for the gank.
Or this could be trouble for Turmi right now. Does not respect the fact that the Darius could be there. Never mind.
Ooh.
There's a flash auto, but the auto is not enough. And a beautiful gank right there. Incarnation making use of Kane. And Turmi just new to the lane of top, right? At this point, just not knowing that he can get ganked at this point. Placed way too aggressively, was already chunked out. And first blood goes to Vertin and Blood here.
Yeah, I think he was simply unaware of the how fast a Kane is able to get through his four camps and get level 3 because that gank happened roughly around 3 minute mark. And I think like if he got 5 more seconds, we would have seen Termi go out and put a void. But those 5 seconds ended up being key because he was able to just get that gank out, and that's really important for Kane more than Maokai because he's got those red stacks with those kills. He's gonna get Rast faster, and if Kane is able to accelerate his Rast, he can take over the game.
Yep, that's exactly what Kane wanted to do, right? The only melee champion is top right now. Yes, there's also Draxler, but he's not going to go fight for it. And again, Rinks is just trying to freeze this wave, but this
Oh,
time, again, a beautiful double gank. And Termi just not respecting the fact that he's pushing back so hard. Does survive eventually, but it does mean that the wave will eventually start pushing back towards Termi. But again, Rinks is in a great spot. Yeah, he's a bit behind in CS, but the fact that this lane has gone the opposite of what we expected here is really good. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, you can see Classical trading a lot there and actually surviving. Just really smart mechanics on that Azir to survive right now. And so far, so good for Lieutenant Blood. Everyone looking on point.
yeah, so like what's really key is that we knew that the top lane matchup was gonna go badly for the Maokai anyways, but now it's going badly for the Maokai while his jungler is winning. So that's really key. It's not just going bad for any reason. And as far as Maokai is concerned, he's pretty happy about that. He's like, okay, take everything, take my CS, take my experience, just carry me, please, because I can't do anything this game.
Yeah, and I feel like Termi is just as a top lane main myself, I can see Termi is just having a bit of a difficult time in trying to play this lane out. And again, you
Hmm.
see a trade happening, but this time he could be the one winning it. Never mind, the fifth passive stack does not land. Meanwhile, I Kill Vango is trying to hit any and all sort of ease onto the Caitlyn, but not succeeding so far yet. In terms of CS, however, it does seem to be slightly in favor of the Ashe. However, there is a wave approaching Caitlyn, so it should even out right here. In terms of the mid lane, though, you do see the CS lead increasing already. Yes, Classical was poking out the Syndra, but Syndra has been able to amass herself a decent 8 to 10 CS lead. Meanwhile, in the bot side, Mahakal stops the back right here, being the annoying person that he is. And yet again, do they not spot him? Or yes, they do.
Oh,
Mahakal might have bitten off a bit more than he can chew. He does have flash. He tries to flash the ignite. The heal also being used does not matter. You will die, and that's basically a bait where he got baited himself. Ikil Vanko wants to go in. Ikil Vanko does go
oh
in,
no.
and Ikil Vanko sacrifices himself so that his AD carry can get a double kill for himself. Beautifully played right there. And DF respond back.
Yeah, like the Deimos first is just like, bro, Mahakal, you're being annoying. We're just gonna kill you. Like, why do you have to stop us twice? It was very good of him to stop it the first time, but he sort of cornered himself in the corner over there where, against Ash and Leona. And like, as we were talking about in Champ Select, Ash and Leona is all about like closing someone down and keeping them there. And like, you can't really get away if you get hit by the E. You have to play that initial Leona E.
Yeah, in the top side as well, you can see finally Termi getting those trades out. But it might be that bit too late at this point. But the good thing that Termi is doing so far, I hope he does not push that wave because it is pushing towards him, and that could mean Rings could die. Never mind, Termi just cues the damn ass wave, and now he's gonna be in the same spot that he was in the start of the game, which is pushing towards Termi. I just don't understand this play right here. Like top side Termi just not understanding the nuance of this lane. And yet again, Rinks is just trying to freeze. Rinks is like, you know what, I'm gonna keep the wave here because I'm safe as hell. He can't kill me at this point. And honestly, not bad. Gotta give some props on Rinks right there to just chill. And yes, he's behind, but at least he's not dying. And Darius is just having no pressure right now in this lane because at that tower without flash, he's not in any sort of threat of dying.
I mean, yeah, like we're seeing the fact that Termi is a mid laner who moved to the top lane because in the mid lane it's all about getting that wave priority and like making sure you're able to get to the river to help your jungler fast. And because of that, I think Termi is pushing in and he's not able to realize how important wave management is in the top lane, like how much it affects your trades and when you're
Oh,
able to
look
take
at this.
fights.
The turn
Oh
outplay
no,
actually happens. And one more
oh
Q,
no.
one more flash turn. Oh, you got this, Riggs. No, he does not have mana for his Q right there. And that would have been a solo kill on the other side. See how embarrassing would have been for Termi if he did actually die there solo. And Rings is just in a happy spot right now. Gets the opportunity to push back the wave. Might just look to get his Bramble first back. And if he does that, he's not going. Then his lane is a lot more manageable for him by far because he's able to just get tanky, and that's great for him.
Yeah, so the script for this match has sort of flipped completely for me. It was all about like this dunk master Darius completely dunking on his opponent while the Trundle is able to get Drakes. While Deimos Force did execute one half of that plan, like they got the early Drake. The Ashe is 2-0. She has her Cutlass in, so she's dominating lane now. This Darius is going to be kind of useless when it comes later. He's going to get kited by the Caitlyn, kited by the Azir. So it's all going to come down to this mid-game team fights. If Eichel Van Gogh is able to pull off the perfect engages and if they're able to snowball this Drake lead with the Ashe, then they can just win the game and Darius won't matter.
Yeah, and you can also see Daxter is half a level behind already. Incarnation is doing a great job just farming up to his level 6. He's actually 6.5 to Trundle's 5 and 3/4. So that's like a 3/4 of a level. Meanwhile, the
Oh,
BF bot lane gang, here you go. Ash has his ult. Will this start? Are they waiting for one more wave? Yes, they seem to be right now. There's no response so far. Kane is going for the red because he thinks that Trundle is bot. Trundle is not bot. Can he get the smite? No, he does not. Draxus smite straight away. Meanwhile, the bot side. Oh my
oh.
lord. Thresh just gets deleted out of nowhere. And wow, that flash almost killed. But here comes Classical. And Classical gets a return kill for himself. So when all of a sudden done, both the supports die and both the mid laners pick up the kill. So net an even trade. And Written Blood will take that considering how bad it was looking for them.
I mean, even trade while Kane just casually takes the CS in the mid lane and the experience. So Kane is just this casual guy waiting to transform and just farming up. It was a really good initiative taken by Deimos Force, though I'm not sure exactly what happened for them to botch it. Like they had all the ultimates ready. They had the Ashe ultimate, the Leona ultimate, and the Syndra ultimate. Whereas, as is the case with dives, usually the whole system of taking the aggro of the turret must have gone wrong, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah, and at this point, you can see the goal lead. Yes, it's in favor of Deimos Force, but it's not that bad. It's just a 600 goal lead that they have. And Classical getting on the board is great for him. That one kill gives him momentum in the mid lane as well. Meanwhile, Savage also with the great roam gets a kill for himself. And now, Incarnation, Mahakal, Classical, all of them are in the mid lane. They want to get that Syndra who does not have flash, but they will not be successful. And, 9mm just smartly backs off right there. Meanwhile, in the top lane, what is happening? It's just weird because Rings has that area warded, and I think the scuttle might be the next play for them as they are looking to ping that right now. But it is warded out, and DF know exactly where they are. And look at this Classical, trying to back on the brush. 9M decides, hey, you know what, something seems off right there. Let me just try to press my W. And Classical runs away. But again, game's getting a bit interesting here because now people looking for fights. And surprisingly enough, when all was said and done, DF did get a dragon for themselves. They got the first drag of the game. And now the second one spawning as well.
Yeah, the second one is spawning, and even though the dive guard botched, nothing happened to the Ashe, so her bark is already here. Leona is still the support who died, sure, so she's still gonna just be able to ult. She has both her flash and ignite up, so that's really key for me when this dragon comes up. I want Deimos first to just force this dragon. Is the skins battle in the bot lane? He really wants to get that hoop in, but on the
Yeah, you could see another fight happening in the bot side. Not sure if they want to go after Mahakal. Yes, they will. Ultimate being used. Everything being used. Mahakal will probably see you Kal because, he died at this point. I think he's just getting caught out when he should not, be in certain places. He's the one trying to hook, but he's the one who ends up getting counted on, and that's been the story of his death so far, and both the deaths that he's had. And like you said, see, this just means a free dragon right now for DF. So their dragon game is looking strong at the moment. Look at this right now. Trinks is trying to trade. I'm not sure if that trade is still going to be in favor because you do forget that's a Darius and he's completely out of mana right here. So he will have to go back. Meanwhile, Classical trying to see make a roam top but gets spotted out on a ward, and yet again the bot lane gap seems to be growing a little more, looks like here.
Yeah, for Demon's First, the game is entirely about Ash Leona now. Like Syndra will matter a lot, of course, in denying who like this Azir who's gonna try to get on the Ash, or even denying the Kayn who's gonna try to get on the Ash. But it's all about protecting the Ash and letting her get out the DPS, letting her decide when you want to engage, and letting her just snowball this game into like.
Oh lord. Okay, I apologize for my cringe Mahakal comment. I did not have anything to rhyme with it. Okay, so Gomen SI for that. But regardless, DF seems to be in a better spot right now here, as they have gotten two dragons with themselves, and everyone's ahead in farm. It's not like one lane. I guess except for jungle who's ahead in EXP, like everyone else in their lanes are just ahead in farm by like 10 or 20,
Yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
just
I
pure
think
mechanics or laning or CSing at this point.
yeah, that combined with the experience that Demon's First have at playing at this level for Demon's First, this is just another. Oh,
Oh, it's a beautiful Azir ulti right there. Dynamite could be in trouble. Can he use whatever? He does not. He cannot. He just succumbs completely. Realizes, you know what? Classical made a great play. I do not have flash and have to give props to Classical right there. Notice the fact that Syndra without flash uses his own flash to get Syndra in a spot. Kane follows up and really well played by that jungle and mid lane duo.
yeah, I mean, exactly as you said, right? I was just gonna say that it's all about like how much less pressure Demon's First must be feeling for because for them this is a casual game, whereas for Written in Blood this is like a huge game.
Oh
Oh,
wow, the ult from
what?
downtown lands onto Kane and that follows up.
Down.
And look at this, Darius has full stacks right now. Will he flash? Yes, he will flash. Will he use auto? Yes, he can. And you know what, Bramble or not, when you have a red buff, Termi will auto a ward and then Rinku will W in back when he
Oh,
was surviving. And look at this fight, comedy of
oh.
errors. Yes, it is. But they both eventually will die in the process. Not the cleanest of outplays from that Darius, I have to say. But eventually Rings gets a kill back for himself, and DF Force get the kill onto the Kane and also lose Herald right here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go back to saying what I was saying the time when the fight came in the bot lane. That skin, the Maokai he's wearing, the goalkeeper skin, he's perfectly showcasing that. He's this goalkeeper, just fat goalkeeper standing in front of the goal. Every time someone comes near the goal trying to score one on him, he's just like, nope. And he takes that kill back on him, and very well played by Riggs to do that, honestly. I
For
can
how
see.
well that was played, I am gonna so talk to Termi after this game. Like, bro, what are these Darius mechanics that you're showing? But regardless, he does pick himself a couple of kills, and that's good, right? Because he needs to also be ahead in this game. If the Darius is behind, he's going to be utterly useless. Those two kills are propelling him to get his Triforce pretty soon at this point. And look at this, Classical is trying for a gank, but Classical sorry. Trundle's trying for a gang, but Classical's like in a very safe spot. And again, all credit to this guy on the Azir right here, showing why he's a great champion, has the skills and the know-how to not get ganked right here. And if he scales up even further, that's going to be a great thing for him to wind up. And look at this right now. In the top lane half, Rinku is just trying to farm up, and those trades that Darius is doing, these don't hurt him that much anymore.
And yeah,
Bramble
like
really
the
helping him out, yeah.
CS difference is also catching up. But like as you said, even though that was the action.
Was actually again really well played.
Oh.
But look at this on the other side. You know what? If there's one thing Termi does right in his life, and that's roam. And Termi is like, you know what? I see a free kill onto Classical, a flash by I kill Vango, a great lens, and an escape by Classical. But try as he might, he just cannot outrun three different people from DF, and that's where DF's team experience as a whole comes in. They rotate faster. They're able to identify where the other person is, and this is the second time that Darius has picked up a great kill just off of great roams. And now the mid lane tower could go down. And
Oh.
Ash ult barely misses. Crixus has been on point with his Ash ultimate so far. There's one that he landed from his bot lane to the enemy, to the Rift Herald itself, which is pretty pog. And look at this again. Rinks is trading really well, and Termi just seems to not playing that
Yeah.
well. I don't want to criticize him in worse ways, but I feel like he could have potentially done better. This could also have been a Black Cleaver game for him, considering how much armor has been built by the Maokai. But he's choosing to go for the Triforce in this case.
I was gonna say that too because since I mean, maybe the Kane goes Shadow Assassin, but I expect this Kane to be going towards Rust, given Trundle and Darius. So Black Cleaver would make a lot of sense into Rust, and it would give you that little bit extra beefiness for the Azir and the Caitlyn too. But I get it. Like I remember from like the finals of Exolances was the Deimos Force last time when the Garen built that Triforce and he just wanted to bop everybody on the side of Exolances. Turby is going for something similar. He's like, I'm going to kill everybody. I don't care.
Yeah, that's going to happen in the middle as well. Mahakal gets caught out yet again. A beautiful Leona ultimate. And look at this, just before Dragon spawns, they get another pick. And man, Written in Blood just. They can't seem to catch a break in this game. They have these subtle moments of great play, especially from mid and jungle right here. Even Rings, to be honest, have to give him a lot of credit for holding his own this game. But just when you think things are going to be fine, in that bot lane comes Mahakal gets caught out. Unfortunately, that this allows DF to get the third dragon of the game. They're one away from getting Mountain, and now it's going to be a very difficult task for them to do something about. Meanwhile, the top side, you land all the passive stacks at this point, but Rings is just so far it finished his Sunfire Cape and his Bramble Vest. He's actually just can out sustain him. Like he can take the short trades, heal back up again, and then just look to fight again. And Darius should be more effective when he starts roaming. And I feel that this is the time for DF to just get the bot lane tower ASAP and then rotate their bot lane to the top side of the map so they can finally have the Darius just start roaming a little bit more.
I think the key thing to take away for Written in Blood from this matchup is the fact, like you said, they have these moments of brilliance, but these moments of brilliance are like, oh my god.
Oh Lord, man, this is just what can you do right here? Classical.
What?
The flash
Why?
was confusing. He flashed in front of Leona. Leona's like, hello. And then Ash is like, I'll get that kill, thank you. And that four-man gang, again, this is just coming out to team play right here. Written in Blood, they are not used to playing versus teams who are just going to group up against you so often. And this is exactly why, teams like DF just tend to do really well in tournaments because they're able to be there for each other and just take towers and objectives when they can. And Incarnation right now might be trying to get a kill onto Ash, but he could just be getting bamboozled because Leona and Trundle are right there behind his back. Mid lane tower's gone, bot lane tower's gone right now. All towers will be going, and the goal lead is increasing CA to around 3,000.
Yeah, so like as you said, right? Like Deimos Force, their like strongest point is their coordination, their ability to make plays with each other and make plays together. So for me, like the entire problem with this draft that I see from Written in Blood is this sort of but to pull this composition off, not only do you have to delay the game for a really, really long time against a team whose strength is to like end the game fast through like coordinated fights, you also have to deny them these fights. And like you suddenly take up so much pressure on yourself to execute something that is very hard for the topmost teams in the world to do. So for next game, I want them to just make things easier. Like Incarnation, we saw a brilliant gank from him, like to get first blood. Give him something with a bit more agency rather than the Kane, like that can actually snowball out of control, where he can take over the game early rather than later.
Indeed, and the game is actually not over yet. There's still a 3,500 goal lead. The biggest disparity is in the AD carry role because of how far ahead Krixus is. He's around 1,600 gold ahead. And yes, there are some 500 to 600 gold leads on every other lane, but the jungle is doing really well right here, and they want to go after Ikil Bango, but Kane does miss his Q right there. Krixus will get his red buff, and now the top lane tower will be under siege right here as Savage himself is just farming up so well. Like at 20 minutes, you'd say 177 CS is pretty darn good, but at 20 CS, 20 minutes to have 207 CS, like Savage or 9mm is just farming on another level on this under right now.
Yeah, he just 10 CS per minute. He's like even out farming the AD carry in Crixus, even though Crixus has no deaths, and he's just gonna be really happy about that because he's coming into his power spikes really well. I think the next fight at Soul Point, the biggest fight at Soul Point at least, is gonna be all about these power spikes. I think Kane is gonna be able to hit Rust by then. He's had his back cleaver, but 9mm on the other hand, he will be able to finish his Morelnomicon, and he'll be able to one-shot almost anybody on the opposite team, except Rinks, of course.
And Lynx himself is just trying to go for some mock trades at this point. I feel that could be his optimal choice considering how much CC the enemy team has on their side. And look at this Draxler, but then again, Classical will just run away. The pillar does get used, but is not properly positioned, and there's just so much pressure right now from DF right here, and there's not a lot that WIB can do except just try to turtle at this point. Now Rings is a bit far ahead, but because he's so tanky, I think he can afford to be this far ahead right now, as everyone from DF on the top side have backed, have gotten their pink wards, and now looking towards the fourth dragon. We could see a very big fight happening here.
I mean, yeah, they like we usually talk about stands like these happening at your inhibitor or your inhibitor turret when like one team is pushing the other team down. But that stand has to happen now at the Soul Point Dragon because even though it's just Mountain Soul, which is one of the less preferred souls, the fact that they're able to get Soul and accelerate to Elder Dragon so quick and so early in the game will mean a lot for Deimos Force. They're just going to look to continuously fight for the next 5 minutes and like, snowball and end the game.
Yeah, and Azir himself is just making the roam down. He's like, you know what, guys, this is time. Let's do this. Let's look to get the dragon. Never mind, he looks to get the ward first. Will he go top again? Which means that this could potentially be a feed dragon. Oh, never mind. The insane call is to do Baron. And WIB was like, you know what, let's do Baron. They're going all in. Do not realize there's a ward right there. And the fact that they are still doing it is crazy because here comes Syndra. Three other people on this side, and the Baron will not be successful as Ash and Trundle on both side will finish up and get their Mountain Dragon. I mean, they wanted to try something, but they should have definitely cleared out vision before they did that. That would have been a great play if there was no vision for them to see, right?
Yeah, I mean, no vision, and I think that was a sort of like spontaneous call. And I'm like, whilst okay,
Yeah, Incarnation could potentially be in trouble right here, but with the Mountain Dragon. Oh, Crixus lands the ultimate in the front of Classical. Classical tries to run away. He will be fine. Flash from Crixus. Unstoppable. Gets caught outright by Classical. Cannot do much at this point. And the bot lane tower is now under siege. The mid lane tower is now under siege. And DF slowly and steadily are getting a very strong hold of this game. And here comes Rings again. Has to flash away. I'm not sure if he needed to do that because of how much tankiness he already has. He does not have to be afraid of the Syndra, who currently does not have any percent magic penetration rather. And now the bot lane tower is going down. There is a quick pause coming, but you can see the steady decline of WIB as the game is progressing here.
yeah, like it's just the pressure, right? Like they're not able to play in their comfort zone, which I think is very important for any new team coming in to like such a big platform and such a big tournament. You have to be able to like stay in your comfort zone so that you're able to fight these teams for whom like this is just another day. Deimos Force have played in tournaments like these for so long now. They're so accustomed to the pressure and to the idea that the exhilaration that you feel when you're playing these tournaments, when they get to these stages where you're continuously fighting is when they actually thrive. But whereas on the other hand, Written in Blood, they constantly have this feeling that, oh no, we're messing up this play, we're messing up this play. Because they're not in their comfort zone, they're forced to like take these unnecessary decisions that they don't want to.
Yeah, and you can see already right now the towers have just been taken on their side, and it's looking like a very tough game for WIB to come back from because of how far ahead just all of them are at this point. 6,000 goal lead at 24 minutes in the game, and I think WIB had great moments. There are definitely things that they can look back on in this game and say, hey, guys, we did a lot of these things right. If we just focus on some of our other mistakes and don't make them, we definitely have a chance to come back in this game. And like I don't know how this guy is managing to do 10 CS a minute, but both Fury and Savage have done a really good job in terms of CS in this game, have been on point. And because of that CS deficit as well, they're 50-50 CS ahead. And at 24 minutes, 200 CS by South Asia standards is not bad. But these guys are just on another level right now, which I really want to point out. The fact that they're 50 CS ahead itself is like a 300-400 goal lead that they have. Actually, more than that if you consider all the CS that they've gotten. And the calls are to do Baron right now, see, and I think Baron could potentially be the play for them to make, considering that they have pretty much taken everything else.
I mean, yeah, I think the best reason to look for Baron right now is that if you go towards a lane and try to like land ultimate from Leona or something to engage a fight, because the key thing for them is they want to fight. But so if they go to a lane and try to fight, they might mess something up. They might mess up the execution. Baron is simple. You come to us and fight, or we're gonna take the Baron and ram it down your throat.
Yeah, and the blue buff goes out of Classical. Now, note that Classical has finished his 2 items for our spike, so he is pretty strong with his Leandry Sand, his Nash's Tooth. So if he's remaining unchecked in these team fights, he can still win it for them. Remember, it's really about who can make the right engage. The only problem is that it's actually DF who have these beautiful engages, right? With the Leona ultimate and the Ash ultimate, even Sintra stun, and Mahakal tries to land a hook, does not succeed, and Darius is free pushing bot side. And at this point, they have started to do Baron already, and this could be a difficult call right now, because if they are doing Baron, they chunk out a lot. Then this could be WIB's chance to come back right here, and they are trying to do that. Ikil Vango lands a nice ultimate. Here you go. Oh my god, they catch Classical, but Classical tries to run away. He survives at this point, and look at this, the fight is happening. But here comes Darius. Darius is able to get the Q. The Syndra dies, mind you. Can Syndra do something? No, she cannot. The shutdown. Here comes Stormy. Dunk one. Auto attack Q and dunk again. That's a double kill for him. Crixus kills them on the other side as well. And that's going to be a complete ace for their loss of their mid laner. They tried. See, they definitely tried, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, they recognize what we were talking about, how like Classical can still actually make a difference in these fights if he's able to like stay unchecked. But they're like, no, we know who's the strongest person on your team. We know who's the biggest threat to us, and we're just gonna shut them down. Deimos first just looks so comfortable. Like I was talking about how hungry they are coming into these games, and they're proving that. They're like, we don't want to waste any time here. We know which stage we want to get to. We know where we want to be, and we're just gonna push our way through that as fast as possible.
Man, this Baron is taking ages. Finally gets done though, and it gets done when even like Cinder's on who gets that buff. So this could potentially, you could potentially be seeing another last sort of a push coming out later, because of how far ahead Crixus is. Oh my lord, he's completed 3.5 items. He's going for a dead stance next. He's not going to die anytime soon, even if like people jump on his face and try to kill him at this point. And yet again, like Darius has built himself a spirit visage after his Triforce, so no magic damage from Z is gonna do much to him. And right now, it's just looking like Deimos Force are just massively in the driver's seat. 10,000 goal lead in game one, definitely making a mark, showing that they are a top two team in this league, as they have always been, and now looking to make quick work of WIB in this game one.
Yeah, if I was WIB, like it's not like they're completely out of the game yet. They're basically out of the game. Don't get me wrong. Like it's gonna be very hard to pull it back from this point. But they haven't lost any of their base turrets. Their base is still very much intact. So it's all about just getting as much gold as you can.
Oh, you can dislike right now, and again, Classic is trying to go for the Leona. Leona's so tanky that in spite of all of his efforts, including a flash and an ultimate, they were still not enough to kill him. And look at this yet again. The Kate ult also does not kill him, and Crixus could be in trouble. Oh my lord, Crixus will just be away. No, he will not, and that's going to be a kill. And look at this. White now, written in blood, finally get the kills that they were looking for. And no responses so far. Syndra is trying to run away. And Classical, man, he just saw that play and he went and he gave his whole heart and soul to it and actually worked out for them. The biggest shutdown actually goes over. And it's Classical who gets that 1,000 goal shutdowns here.
Yeah, that's gonna be key. Like I was just talking about how they need to get all the gold they can, and 1,000 gold—that's a lot of gold on your main
Oh
carry.
my
So that's
lord, Elder is spawning as well. If they can actually fight for the Elder because it's 20 seconds to Ash right here. I mean, I would love to take a fight. If this is me, I'd go balls deep. And Draxler is trying to go, but gets caught out right. Has to ult someone. Can he ult someone? Yes, he does. Oh, a
oh,
beautiful three-man Syndra ult right there. Azir ult as well to dissuade people. They get the kill, Matt, but
oh my
my
god.
lord, Syndra damage is nothing to scoff at. Those three-man stuns that 9mm is landing has single-handedly dissuaded WIB from just trying to fight further. Now with both the junglers dead, the Elder Dragon is up for grabs. But for how low Caitlyn is, this is not a dragon they can give away. The main carry, Fury Crixus is back, but for how slow Dragon is doing, another stun landed right here. The Kate ult being used does not do much. The beautiful
Oh,
EQ lands. My Lord Wang go on
what a
point with his
flank.
Leona right here. Double kill goes over to the Syndra, and that's gonna be the Elder Dragon for DF. Valiant attempt from WIB. Have to give props to them for trying this, but it's gonna be DF who regained back the control of the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, actually brilliant plays by Classical and like WIB in general to actually show some initiative and not just like lie down and let Deimos first take over them. I hope that when this game is over, because I think this game is basically over now for me, Elder Dragon is in this season way stronger a buff than Baron, and it's going to be almost impossible to deny them the close with the Elder Dragon. So for them, they're going to have to look at the fact that they are able to match Deimos force in these specific moments. They just need to change up their draft a little bit and give playmaking abilities to the players who are making the plays.
Yeah, at this point, what DF need to do is simply just run in as 5 and fight, right, Sierra?
Yep. Yeah, like the Elder Dragon is so strong. They have all their power spikes in terms of items. The Ash, like, she's on 4 items. She has her Death's Dance, her Infinity Edge. The Syndra's finished her Rabadon's Death Cap. So, like, with Syndra, if she presses R on like 4 out of 5 champions in this game, maybe not the Kane because he has some MR now. They're gonna one shot that person with the Elder Dragon. So, like, it's really simple for Damon's First right now. I cannot imagine how they're gonna botch this up.
That Azir tower being used mid to buy some more time. And honestly, that's great because look at this. Elder Dragon is, already halfway done, and DF have not done shit with it. Like, not gonna lie, like they haven't done anything with that Elder Dragon so far. I'm not sure how long they want to wait for the Elder Dragon to spawn off, but they don't have a lot of time to do it. So let's see if they
Yeah.
can capitalize. Meanwhile, the bot side, top side, you do see that Termi is using this pressure that he has top to get the top lane tower right now. And now the mid lane tower will finally, the Azir tower will finally go down. But they need to look for Leona or an Ashe to make another engage happen. That's the only way I see them doing something. But yet again, they're just going for the blue buffs, they're going for the jungle camps, and they're just like, you know what, guys, fuck it. We're going to forget it rather. We're going to just take the Elder Baron that will spawn in a minute, and that's when we look to fight again. I guess
Uh,
the Elder Dragon was not used effectively. I
yeah, I'm
have to
not
say.
so sure about this because like Baron is great and all, but like the Elder is definitely, especially for their team comp, the amount of engaged Damus first have, Elder is so much better than Baron. They've sort of turned off a little bit, and they seem to be taking the chill pill, as one might say, and that's not great because this Azir he is getting his items and he's only catching up in gold. Whereas for the Damus first carries, they already have their power spike, so it's not like they're getting stronger.
Exactly. At this point, WIB said, you know what, we're happy to get our IE on our Caitlyn. We're happy to finish Rabadon's on our Azir. Thank you for allowing us to scale into the game along with you guys. But finally, you see a siege happening, and there is Azir there, and they will be able to thwart this because they do not have Elder anymore. And now Baron is finally going to be up. Not sure what the plan of action here is for DF or for WIB, but this game has just gone on for longer than it should have. Let's see if they are able to finally get the Baron, or will this time WIB, do the right thing and maybe get a kill for themselves. You have to look at Classical here because he is the guy that is going to decide if WIB win this match, win this team fight, or lose this.
Yeah, I mean, if this Baron
Oh, the
doesn't,
Ashe was wasted right here.
yeah, that's very key. Like now, Leona has to perfectly land her engage, otherwise, oh, Banshee's Veil, okay.
Trials, Banshees, he's safe. Kane is looking for a steal. Kane is a level behind. Do you want to take the 50-50 DF is the big question we have to ask. But look at this. Syndra does spot out the Kane and everyone's getting spotted out. But look at this. Azir damage is brutal. What is this?
Oh my.
Caitlyn just gets caught out horribly at this point. But Azir damage is poggers at this point. At WIB are fine looking to get the kill that they wanted. But here comes the Ashe, the
Oh my
Syndra. The
god.
main guys are alive. And as much as Incarnation is trying to do something, my lord, Savage is being savage with his Syndra abilities. EQ does land onto the Kane right here. The stun, however, does not land. He will die. Classical is dominating this team fight. And WIB, when all was said and done, are surviving this game, CA. Even though they lost 2, they gained 3.
I mean, not just surviving, they're thriving. Like now, this Kane is going to be able to finish his Spirit Visage. He's going to be so hard to kill, and Azir is going to finish his Rabadon's Death Cap. We thought he did a lot of damage. Now, after the Rabadon's Death Cap, he's going to start melting people. After the Rabadon's, I assume the White Stuff is going to come in, and it doesn't matter how tanky Leona is because Deimos Force. Among all the things they don't have a proper beefy front line. They don't have a Maokai. They don't have that sort of Scion, that guy who can just stand and soak up damage. They don't have that for them. And this Azir, he's gonna start taking over this game now.
Yep, Rabadon's completed 4 items here with a large rod. Sorry, with a blasting wand. He's actually 1,000 gold ahead of the Syndra. And you're allowing a guy like this who plays, exclusively Azir, allowing him to do so much damage, not focusing him. I do have to say that Nemesis or Reckless Jr. was in a horrible, horrible spot in that game. And now it's actually WIB who have started the Dragon. I'm not sure that's the right call. And
Oh,
Darius is there. Here comes Ike Vango, lands a 2-1
oh,
ultimate. There's a lot of fights happening. Hawkeye as well. But look at this. Caitlyn is untouched.
yes, he
And
is.
Caitlyn is doing so much damage. So is Classical. And the carries of DF are just not there. And Kane ultimates at the perfect time to dodge the Syndra. And here comes the Flash W. And Ashe will die. Beautiful, beautiful flash there from Rings to get the Azir. And now, yet again, they get a 2-for-0 right here, CA. And this is WIB absolutely killing it and getting the Baron for themselves.
Man, this is that classic solo queue game, when you completely as jungler dominate the early game, all your carries are fed, and you're just laughing, you're chilling, you're having a good time. You're like, they're gonna surrender in 2 minutes. And then you're like, they're gonna surrender in 5 minutes. And you just keep delaying the game little by little by little. And then 20 minutes later, you realize, oh shit, wait, we're losing. Oh no, what now?
Yeah, they are losing. And if they lose the Elder as well, they definitely are going to be in a horrible spot. Can Trundle do
Oh.
something? Trundle! Trundle! Oh my lord! Draxler, you god! Smites the Elder, takes it for himself,
What a
and
game.
so DF live to fight another team fight. That was
Yeah.
like Chad level plays right there. 1v5, they did not do a good enough job to actually displace him away from the Elder pit, and they are able to walk away with an Elder track for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you know what is stronger than the first Elder Dragon? The second Elder Dragon. And like, I really, really hope that they don't end up split pushing or trying to get pressure in side lanes. Please just run it down mid, press R, and win the game. Like you doesn't matter how you engage, you just have to engage and let your carries do the damage. For the Darius especially, he's going to be able to like reduce the armor on the Maokai so much, and the Trundle he can press R. Trundle doesn't need to have the Elder Dragon buff on him. It's all about the Syndra and the Ashe. So like they really need to fight as soon as the Trundle is up.
Yeah, full items Azir, full items Syndra, full
God.
items almost onto the Ash as well. And the thing is with the front to back, right? When the Leona and the Darius go in, they just get minced meat because of how far Classical and Reckless Jr. on that Caitlyn can just stay behind and do DPS. Syndra has to come in front. Ash also has to somewhat come in front, right? So that's actually an advantage in the front to back team fight for Written in Blood right here. And this is going to be an excellent game. And the stun lands. Oh my, that's a beautiful stun, but the cleanse has to be used. And this is going to be a kill right here. Classical could be in trouble. Classical gets ignited on. Classical has to run away. That's going to be Mahakal getting caught out right there. Tried to save his AD carry, but died in the process.
I mean, I was just gonna say that the thing Deimos Force have going for them right now is that they have an inhibitor in the bot lane. So Written in Blood constantly have to like go there and clear. So Deimos Force have to use their numbers advantage rather than to do a front and back fight, do like a 4v3 or a 5v4, and that's exactly what they did. So like they need to just keep pushing on the fact that they have numbers now.
Yeah, and they have like the mountain buff, they have the elder buff. If I was them, right, I would just go in on that next wave with my Leona ult, which is back in like 10 seconds, and I'll just go all in. Like the fact that they're playing so scared when they have Elder, when they have a 5v4, is making me question their decision making very hard at this point. And I don't know for how long do they want to keep totaling this. For the next Baron, when you played the last Baron, you know what happened. What are DF doing at this point? I'm just not sure. Are they waiting for Darius to get his fifth item? Like that matters? Are they waiting for Crixus to get his last item? I don't think it matters. Like I'm not sure what the hesitation really is from DF right here. But you know what? WIB are more than happy to capitalize on this indecisiveness from DF because now they have a very tanky Maokai who is just going to stack up a lot of HP and armor and MR and is not going to die in team fights. And your Caitlyn has her critical items already. Your Azir is full build, can just sit from afar and do a lot of damage. And this game is now suddenly heavily in favor of WIB unless DF can get a magical team fight with the pick from themselves.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Oh, okay.
Oh, the call is to go after the Kane, but then they ultimate the Azir, and yet again, Incarnation is in trouble. But here comes the
All right.
flash ult. They finally get the kill onto the Kane, and now Classical's in trouble. Got between a croc and a hard place he is, and finally, Classical gets legendary. Look at the Maokai CA. Maokai does not die, but eventually, all the rocks will get shredded, and so does he. And finally, with the huge stall in the game, DF are looking to end the game.
I mean, if I was written in blood right now, I would actually be extremely. I mean, nobody wants to lose, right? But I would be really happy with how this game went. They have a clear advantage in terms of like their decisiveness in this game. They've been able to make certain key calls which have been their moment to shine, and they've shown Deimos Force's weakness. Deimos Force is not that great at closing games according to this game. So if I was written in blood, I'm going back from this game like, okay, we lost, but we just need to figure out exactly why we lost and we'll be fine.
Completely agreed. Game one was a 40-minute cracker of a game, but it is going to be DF who come out on top in this game. And look at the damage dealt. Azir with the highest damage. Classical played his heart out this game, and everyone from Eternal Blood had a valiant effort. And they have shown that underdogs can win games. They were close to making a great comeback, but can they do it is something we have to see in game two, guys. So do not go anywhere. We'll be back with game two of this insane quarterfinals in just a few minutes. We will see you in a bit.
Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth.
Hello guys and welcome back to game 2 of this intense quarterfinals between Written in Blood on the blue side and Deimos Force on the red side. Game 1 was going very much in favor of Deimos Force up until the fact that WIB almost staged a classic comeback, but it was DF at the end who got away with the win and they're leading 1-0 in the specialty series. Joining me today is my co-caster and CA man. What a game 1 we had, and now that we've seen that happen, what are your expectations for game 2 now?
I mean, my expectations are to have much more engage for Written in Blood, because last time I remember that they banned Morgana. I think their game plan coming into draft was to be like, hey, we're going to pick these certain carries for the people we know, like classical Azir. The first pick was brilliant, but at the same time, they need someone to be making plays. Like Maokai was great, but he was not actually able to engage when they wanted to fight, and that classical had just too much on his plate to do.
Yep, and right now let's see if we see any adaptations come out, and rightly so. We've finally seen a Syndra ban come out, which is honestly great because now Savage will be forced to play something else. Now he can play the Corki, he has a lot of picks in his arsenal as well, but will the Azir be banned out
I
from
think,
DF is the
yeah.
question we have to ask.
I mean, I think Azir has to be banned here because Written in Blood and the blue side have already shown they're happy to first pick Azir. The Syndra is banned, the LeBlanc is banned, and as we were talking about last game, Classical loves those three champions. Leaving in Azir is just like, okay. So I'm guessing, okay, never mind.
Oh, very interesting. It's DF who ban out the Ezreal and pick the Ashe for themselves. Now, those are the two champs that Crixus has played quite a bit in this tournament and in the last couple of weeks. So that's really smart by them. We'll have to wait and see what Crixus gets up. But the Azir was not prioritized first. is quite interesting. I'm not sure if Azir will be picked yet again, but I think it will be. Right? Why will Classical be afraid of anything? Right here is the question. Morgana is the pickup.
Wow.
Draven is the pickup. Draven does really well into the Ashe, from what I've heard, but I have never seen Grixis play Draven that often. So I don't know if he's actually going to do that.
Okay, that
Twitch,
makes sense.
Twitch, really? I haven't seen Twitch in like 2020 at all. I'd love to see a Twitch.
So I've
Is
been
Crixus gonna pick a Twitch? No, Crixus. Oh, they go with the reverse matchup this time. It's actually Crixus who picks up Caitlyn for himself. Interesting. Caitlyn Morgan. Oh, never mind. Caitlyn Morgan is pretty strong as a bot lane right there. Now they could potentially pick up a Braum here, or they cannot go engage anymore, so it doesn't make sense against a Morgana. We have to wait and
Alistar
see
is
what
really
happens.
good against Morgana, but yeah, I was gonna say
Oh,
Nami
Karma.
Karma, if he plays that, makes a lot of sense. And the Azir comes in. So I want to see 9mm. What do you have in your pocket? If I'm assuming in their comms, he's gonna be like, listen, let the Azir go. I know what I'm gonna play into that. Like, I have something ready for the Azir. So I want to see what he's gonna pull out because the center is
I'd,
banned.
I'd probably pick Corki right here because Corki can do a lot what Azir can and still have an insane amounts of damage, and you don't have to. Oh,
Oh,
never mind, he ends up picking Zoe.
so
Okay, okay.
the Zoe Azir matchup is really good for the Zoe early game because she's able to set up ganks really well. Because the key part about Azir is that he's able to just shuffle away when a gank is coming in, and Zoe can set that up by putting a bubble behind Azir. So he has to either step forward and thus be susceptible to the gank, or step into the bubble and then just die. I think this is really about shutting down classical, but we're seeing top lane bans coming out with On and Mordekaiser, so like oh and another tank ban. So where do you think Rinks is gonna go this game? The way he played last game, I'm really like surprised given the matchup. And the way Termi played, we saw that there's a little bit of lack of wave management knowledge for him. So do you put him on a simpler pick where wave management doesn't matter?
I mean, he was on Darius, which is not a hard pick. And Termi's status on League says not a top lane main piece, which is kind of funny.
Okay.
But that's going to be a Nocturne pickup. My lord, that's not something I was expecting Draxler to pick up. It is a great pick, mind you, because you can just jump onto the Azir or the Ashe, just look to kill them solo, providing a lot of loss of vision. But that's a really ballsy sort of champion that he's picked for himself and just generally requires some level of team coordination. I really like that pickup. However, I'm waiting to see what Incarnation replies with here. It is
Oh,
going to be the Malphite top for Rings, which again, just Rings wants to be the tank bot for his team, provide the amount of tankiness and CC that he can deliver. Great into, not sure if it's that great because the Morgana can shield the Caitlyn and then the Malphite kind of goes to poof. But the Fiddle pickup.
wow.
Fiddle is a
Really?
great jungler right now. Oh my lord, I love this pickup from Incarnation. What do you think of that Fiddle pickup right this year?
I mean, I love, like you said, I love the fact that he's taken something into his hands that he can basically 1v5 this game with. We've seen 4 picks out of Deimos Force, all of them are squishies. All of them will, like, if Fiddle gets fed enough, just get one shot by his ult and into Q combo. But this Malphite Fiddle combo is what I'm really looking forward to. Like, Malphite sets up the Fiddle R coming in with like a 3 or 4 man stun. Morgana Shield can protect Caitlyn, yeah, but not the rest of her team, right? Rumble, though. What do you think about this Rumble into Malphite?
Oh my lord. Finally, Termi picks up something I personally love seeing. Now, he has played Rumble mid. Rumble, generally like a top laner, does really, really well into the Malphite because he is resourceless. He has a scrap shield that he can tank the Malphite queues if Malphite chooses to go for the AP option, and will have insane priority in lane, insane team fighting potential. I absolutely enjoy that pick wholesomely from now. If the Nocturne ultimate someone, it can be followed up by a Rumble ultimate in dragon fights. Everything just works out for him, and that's a pickup that
User
I
disconnected from
genuinely
your channel.
like to see coming in right here. So I'm excited to see how this plays off while we take a quick 3 minute break, guys. Do not go anywhere, guys. We will be back with the game once it starts in just a few minutes. Until then, just hang in there and let me know who you guys think is going to win this game too.
Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the South Asia Championship League powered by LG UltraGear. We are in the first quarterfinals. The score is 1-0 in favor of Deimos Force. Game 2 is about to start. We are in the loading screen, and that Elderwood Nocturne skin looks dope AFC. I have not seen that skin.
I
I like it.
actually, yeah, I actually just got that skin on my EU West account, and it's so good. Like you actually can't describe because the way his Q looks, the way his when he himself looks when he's auto attacking with his passive, it just looks so much better. But the skin I really want to look for is the surprise party fiddlesticks because that's exactly what he wants to do in this game, right? He like surprise, I'm gonna come in and just kill everybody.
Exactly. And I think like the reason why they did not ban out classicals this year and they've just picked like the Zoe instead of the Corki is just like I feel like Savage loves a challenge. It's not often where you get matched against great mid laners. Only, when you face Exilances or Elixir or like these top 3 or 4 teams is when you get to meet these high caliber mid lane players. But WIB, in the classicals, Azir is one of those champions that are just fun to play, and I think like DF feels that they probably have this game in the bag and they're allowing our boy Savage to also show off his skills. And last game was a great testament. I feel both the mid laners played absolutely bonkers great. Savage had a lot of game winning moments and Classical had a lot of game saving moments, and both of them just like definitely were looking at their best in the last game.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think Deimos, I mean, like you said about Savage, I think he definitely looking forward to the challenge. I mentioned that he must have had something ready in his pocket to let this Azir go through. And the Zoe makes a lot of sense, but not just the Zoe, the Rumble and the Nocturne make a lot of sense into Azir. the biggest problem for Deimos Force last time was that this Azir was casually able to sit in the back line and just constantly auto attack and get the DPS through. Now, even if the Nocturne doesn't manage to get through to the Azir, which he will, there's a Rumble ultimate where this Azir just can't stand. If he stands, he's gonna die.
Yep, as we see a quick pause happening, but the game has resumed right here. And you know what? I'm a Morgana player, CA. If I play Morgana and I don't invade, then what am I doing with Morgana? And I don't know what skin he has, but it looks damn dope. Do I not have the skin? Wait, what skin is that? Okay, I do have it, but I haven't played this. The running animation looks so nice.
Yeah, all the skins in this game are really nice. The Order of the Lotus Karma is a skin I used to have back in my
Oh,
NA
that's a great
days,
skin
and
too.
the,
Yep.
the all the things. The Karma Q looks so good, and just in general, like the way she carries herself looks really nice. But yeah, the invade you were talking about, I think yeah, I agree. Like given the level one strength of most of the champions on the Deimos first side, like Zoe is happy to start E into the Azir matchup too. She prefers Q, but E is not so bad if you're able to Q that into a Morgana binding. But I don't think it's gonna happen given the way they're splitting up.
Yeah, I mean, they just wanna like chill the hell out and well, it's a chroma actually. That's why I like it. And look at this: Nocturne meets Malphite. The nightmare of dreams faces the shard monolith. Not that anything happened. Do rocks dreams here? Have you ever wondered this?
I'm sorry, what do you mean about dreams?
So Nocturne's like the guy who gives you nightmares and while you're dreaming, right?
Yeah.
And Malphite is like the shard of the monolith, right? He's like a big ass rock. I was
Ah,
wondering, like, does
do
Nocturne give
rocks
Malphite
dream?
nightmares? Because do rocks dream?
I mean, so I remember this short story about Malphite where he was found first, like he was sleeping, and then he was found by like awoken by like a group of people who were trying to go under a mine to get some precious stones. They ended up finding
Ah.
out that those precious stones were actually Malphite's eyes, and he opens them and he's like, "Bro, what are you? Why are you trying to make me blind?"
Yeah,
So
he's one of the largest champions in the league universe. Like, in barring a few, obviously, like Aurelian Soul, who himself is as big as a galaxy, but definitely one of the bigger champions in the game, and one of the first champions I started playing as well. And look at this, Turmish is trying to do a late entry so that the junglers do not know where they started. I'm not sure if that will work out, but he instantly just cues onto Malphite's face, saying, "I'm here to fight." That's cute. And this lane right now with Ash and Karma definitely have a lot of insane priority. I have to say because the Caitlyn does really well into the Ash, and you can see already how Karma just schemes to poke out the Morgana in the bot lane.
yeah, the bot lane is definitely going to be about which support is able to get the priority in terms of poke. But one thing I want to point out is the path Incarnation seems to have taken. I never have done this personally, even though I play some Fiddlesticks jungle. I've seen a lot of pro players. They started Wolves, they finish Wolves, they go to the blue buff and tag it with the Bromp and do that together, and you save about 10 to 15 seconds
He's doing
doing
that
that.
with the blue and the brown this time.
Ah,
So I
he's
guess he didn't
definitely
do it there.
Yeah, he's definitely seen some of it, and yeah, I think he's pulling it now. Yeah, I see him pulling the Grom towards blue, and he seems to be doing that together. So that is something that is really strong for the Fiddlesticks. The fact that he's able to just keep up in terms of timing into this Nocturne, because early game Nocturne isn't the greatest of champions. If he's able to Q his W and actually get close, he can do a lot. But that the same goes for Fiddlesticks. He's not actually going to be able to duel well against the Nocturne. So both of these champions want to farm to 6. It's going to become about the players who are taking over these champions rather than the champions themselves.
Yep. What time are you at as for my career? I'm at 323, 24, 25.
Yep,
Perfect.
325, 26.
And you can see already, right? It's actually the bot lane of Caitlyn and Morgana who've now gotten the pressure and are doing better in the CS department. Meanwhile, we haven't spoken about mid, but it does look like Classical seems to have had the better because he has the push advantage right here. And Fiddle is there just to give him that level of backup that he needs. Meanwhile, Nocturne is on the top side. I'm not sure if he's looking for a gang, but Termi for once is letting the wave come to him as a top laner, so already learning the mechanics of top very well, I have to say. And here comes Nocturne with the gank. Let's see if it's any useful or not. Rinku will have to
Oh,
flash.
this first
Rinku
blood.
does eventually flash, and I'm not sure if they wanted to freeze that, but that one auto attack from Nocturne definitely Could have broken the freeze, but I think it still exists. But good flash right here. In the bot side now, gonna
Oh,
be in trouble. Mahakal gets rooted. Mahakal gets auto attacked by the crit damage. And now they take a lot more poke. And you can see this. I'm not sure. Oh, beautiful, beautiful sleepy double bubble right there from Zoe, but just cannot do enough damage in the early game as Classical just seems to be happy pushing the wave completely. And remember, CA, Classical plays Zoe himself quite well. So he knows the cooldowns by heart, he knows what trading patterns are, and he knows how to play this matchup. So it's really showing in this lane as well as he's amassed himself a pretty decent CS lead, around 10 or more, which hopefully 9mm can look to get back as much as he can. Yeah, he should actually get back most of it, but he's still 9 CS behind in the mid lane.
yeah, he'll still be behind about 6 to 9 CS, but like the key thing for me here is this. Oh,
Bot lane, that's going to be the first death coming yet again. It is to Incarnation's amazing gank that the first blood goes over. But look at this, he steps on a
oh.
trap and Mahakal. You stepped on a trap, my friend. The kill goes back to the Caitlyn. So, in fact, I would say it's a worthy trade for DF because the kill goes over to the AD carry instead of their support player.
Yeah, I mean, for DF, it's actually pretty good because the wave is also really nice for Caitlyn, and the Nocturne just showed up, so that means Caitlyn does have priority. Ash, she wants to go back, but she can't go back because the wave is going to crash into the turret, while Caitlyn's going to be able to get a nice and free back. I'm assuming she has enough money for her BF sword. So DF are fine with it. They lost first blood, which is great for Written in Blood, but it's not that bad a trade for Deimos Force and
But
the
this
Dragon.
dragon priority that Draxler has had since game one is commendable, I have to say. Now he's gonna get the Infernal Drake for himself as well, and that's gonna be a very early dragon take coming out for DF. So continuing on that great path. But having said that, I might have spoken a bit too soon. Fiddle is here. Fiddle has the jump, but he does not use it. And first dragon goes over to DF.
Yeah, so it's pretty even across the board. We see a small CS lead building up in the top lane, of course, for Termi, and a small CS lead in the mid lane building up for Classical. So that's why I guess the gold is dead even, given that. But this is going to become about level 6. These junglers, Nocturne is much more easier to execute at level 6 than Fiddlesticks. But we've seen how good and how smart Incarnation is with his pathing and his ganks. Oh,
Malphite just ulted on the face of Rumble, which was quite interesting to say the least, but he just wanted the wave to be pushed. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to use my first Malphite ultimate to push the wave, which honestly is questionable to say the least. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's just questionable to say the least. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
that should not have happened.
I guess it's the communication going in that this Fiddlesticks is not going to be really looking to play topside, so he's not gonna have to use his like the Malphite is not gonna have to use his ult anytime soon. He decides to use it to maybe get a good back, but yeah, I'm not really sure what that ult was going towards because it wasn't really setting up to be a freeze either in terms of the wave. So
And you can see already in the bot side of like a freeze is already being set right here from Crixus, and they're in a great spot right now. Look at where the wave is. They're gonna just get so much experience in CS right now, and then Mahakal and Reckless Jr. will be the ones who will have to make sure the wave is pushed. They will finally, however, start pushing the wave out, so the wave should get equalized by this point. And yeah, in the bot lane as well, the CS deficit is around 15 to 16 CS. So Crixus is doing a great job farming up right now. In the mid lane also, the CS is around 7 to 8. So it's remained the same as it was since the last 4 to 5 minutes. And Nocturne getting 6 CA. I'm looking forward to seeing where his first game comes. And he's the one who's gotten it first this game. So his ultimate will really matter.
and yeah, like I really hope Written in Blood are
He
paranoid because
should come
once the
bot, right? There's
paranoia, yep,
flashless bot right now. Yeah.
yeah, like there's no flash bot. He's sitting on that corner, which is the perfect spot for Nocturne to ult from into the
And
bot
he
lane,
does
and
go in,
there he
and the
goes.
binding lands onto the Karma.
Oh,
A beautiful gang from
that's a
Draxler,
double.
and they will get both the people.
That's a
Draxler gets a
double.
double kill for himself, and that was just really well coordinated and played. Props to Deimos Force right there. Have started off strong in this game too.
And I was saying, right, I recently started playing League. I play a lot of Nocturne and Volibear in the jungle, and that was the perfect gank that Raxa executed. He perfectly farmed to level 6. Oh,
Oh, look at this Fidelity as well. Fidelity was oh my lord, he almost dies right there because the ignite was used by the Zoe and he was tanking 3 turret towers right here. So The gank was good enough, but unfortunately, only the ignite gets blown. And here comes a Morgana Q, well cleansed by Classical right there. So both the mid laners blow their respective summoner spells. Meanwhile, on the top side, Malphite is just looking to fight right now because Rumble has reached his overcharge. But look at this now, Rumble's return. Rumble will look to do enough damage, but the Q from Malphite will dissuade any more damage coming out. And even Stevens going in the middle in the top lane, this could potentially be another ultimate coming from the Malphite. I can just like see it coming right here. He's gonna look to kill this guy as soon as he can. But then again, I think Termi can just get it back himself if he, just uses his own ultimate onto Malphite's ultimate.
Yeah, like before when he ulted, Termi was level 5, so it was a little less scary to ult into Malphite. But now Termi has sock shoes, so the magic resist Malphite has bot doesn't even matter that much. But again,
Oh, another ultimate used this time to run away. So an ultra ult, but know that the Rumble ultimate cooldown is a lot shorter than the Malphite ultimate by nearly around like 30 seconds. So he will be able to use it back up again. It allows him to push the wave as well. Teleports are up, but no ultimates up for either of the top lane champs. And bot lane just seems to be now merry-go-round right now with the CS lead just getting further and further in favor of Deimos Force. That's a 30 CS lead already amassed by the bot lane. But in the mid lane, you see a 20 CS lead coming out. So that's actually pretty good as well. But I think most of that will also be caught up with Classical has around 6 to 7 CS. So yeah, and that's actually still a pretty good CS lead for the Azir in this matchup.
yeah, I mean, but the DFOs are like about 1.5k gold ahead, and that is mostly in this Rumble and this Caitlyn's pocket. Caitlyn is, I think, yeah, she's about 1,000 gold ahead of Ash, and that's really important for Caitlyn because she wants to be on the front foot going into the mid game. She wants to be ahead of the power spikes. That's something that Reckless Junior was not able to achieve last game, but Krix is showing us how it's done.
Yeah, and like again, this game Classical has been on point with the CS. Like really, actually, 11 minutes, 110 CS is mighty impressive. And look at the Draxler just uses the Herald in the middle face of Classical. And the point is that is might also okay. Never mind, they will be able to get two platings that go over to Draxler and this thing. So some early level gold, which will allow the Zoe to try to be even in terms of gold. She is around 300 gold behind. And this Zoe pick so far, I'm not sure if it has given us the fruits of the labor that we expect that Zoe to be. But again, with Nocturnal being up against
Yep.
CA, with Rumble being up and Malphite not being up, you could potentially see a fight happening in the bot lane again. But this time, WIB have their own flashes.
Yeah, and Classical is starting to walk. He knows that Nocturnal is probably up, and he knows that he has to roam. The one thing I do want to see from Deimos Force is like I want to see the Zoe leave lane a little bit more. Maybe even go top lane or go bot lane, but I want to see her be able to impact the lanes much better than she's able to right now. Because if you are going even with an Azir, you're not really enjoying life. This Azir will end up outscaling you late game.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that I think Azir will be really happy about. The ult used in the mid lane, he could look to potentially kill him, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. Nocturne ult is being used, and look at the Termi's trying to trade, but Termi dies solo to rings, and the Malphite kills. Meanwhile, a beautiful Fiddle ultimate as well gets the kill, but meanwhile, Caitlyn gets the kill onto Karma. Zoe will die in the process. Zoe will not die because Caitlyn's here to survive, and my lord, Caitlyn almost killed the Ashe right here. I'm not sure what the plan of action here is, but because 9mm still has a flash to use, he's going to be in trouble. That's a nice sleepy double bubble. He will die, but not before he makes the Azir sleep. And Fiddle gets the dragon for himself, but will sacrifice himself in the process. Here comes Malphite. Malphite, oh my lord, he steps onto the trap and he dies. That's unfortunate. A lot of people are stepping on Crixus' traps. So definitely love those traps. It looks like, and all is said and done, it's a 3-for-2 at the end of the day, but the Dragon still goes out to WIB.
Yeah, that was a very topsy-turvy fight. It started off as a fight for Deimos Force, ended off as a fight for Deimos Force, but in the middle, when the Fiddle Ultimate came in, the solo kill coming in from the Malphite, WIB are definitely pushing in their own weight in this game.
They definitely seem to be pushing their own weight. But again, it's Crixus who has a great lead so far. And it's going to be Nocturne himself who's gotten 4 kills for himself. So he's looking mighty strong. Turby, on the other hand, is struggling a bit against this Malphite. He just has not had the answer to, kill him. He's trying to go for the 1v1s right here when he doesn't really have to. he can just use his ultimates for the dragon fights or things like that. But now you can see another fight happening. Morgana's dead. Does the Q land? No, it does not. Cheeky Azir right there runs away, slips away, and comes out unscathed.
I mean, I see the Nocturne ult cooldown. It's almost back up. He has a serrated duck and his finished
TP
jungle
Talbot
item.
lands, Karma's in trouble, the
Oh, he's
bind
dead.
also lands, one more auto, but it's Crixus from downtown who gets a kill back, but not before Reckless Jr. slays him
Oh,
as well. Azir's in trouble, Azir uses
oh,
his ultimate, Nocturne's confused, where should I run, decides to run after the Ashe eventually, but here comes Fiddle with the ultimate, and here he goes after Draxler, Draxler run away, but the ultimate from Termi also hits a ton, and now it's gonna be Termi with his teleport to make plays happen. The Madman gets a double kill for himself, and the teleport advantage that they have definitely paid off for them as they get themselves 2 kills.
yeah, the Malphite used his teleport in the last fight that happened in the river to try to help the Ashe when the Ashe stepped on the trap. But like now Termi is able to use his teleport. He actually gets a double kill to speak for it. Suddenly, that solo kill that happened against Termi doesn't matter as much because now Termi is in the goal lead in top lane.
Yep, gets himself a couple of kills, much needed honestly for him. That's a bit of a momentum swing as well. And the top side as well, here comes Zoe. And Malphite said, you know what, I'm going to ignore the Zoe, just going to go after the tower. I don't think that's the right option. That's actually a horrible option, but he will look to eventually run away, but not before he takes like 50% of HP through Zoe into it.
So right now, both of the teams they're sort of in their comfort zone because Classical on one hand is actually farming up, but Deimos Force, unlike the first game, they have a lot more options for their ability to get onto Classical. Classical doesn't have that free game that he had that other last game because last game he was facing against a Darius, a Trundle, and a Leona, and he's able to shuffle away from the Leona, and the Darius and Trundle don't really affect him. Right now, this Nocturne is going to ult him. This Rumble is gonna ult him, and oh, there we go. Yep.
There you go again. There is ultimate here, but the shield from Morgana. This is the kind of champ they wanted to play. This is why Draxon is
Oh,
actually showing up huge. And 9mm and the Morgana Q, no, sorry, the Morgana W and the Nocturne Q just doing a lot of damage and also kill the Karma as collateral. And this again is looking like a tough game for WIB. And this time the answer to that Azir is actually the Nocturne, like you said, definitely showing you how it's done. And look at this sleepy trouble bubble lands again. Ashe is going to be in trouble. Yes, use
oh,
her. Oh, here comes this one. Oh my lord, it's a great fight. They all have to look at how far they are. Draxler will eventually give away his goal lead away to the Fiddlesticks. And here comes Caitlyn. Crixus lands a sleep trouble bubble, trying to do as
oh.
much damage. A beautiful Rumble ultimate right there in the right
Wow.
corner. Gets 2 more kills. They lose the Nocturne, but they get the tower and the kills.
Yeah, I think Demus Force heard us and our frustration from last game about how they seem to turn it down a notch when they were in the lead. This game, they're not doing any of that. They're just like, we're gonna keep fighting, forget what we did last game, and forget the slow down we had. We're just gonna turn it up a further notch when we get a lead.
Yep, and dragon spawning, it's around 30 seconds right here. Both the teams will be ready for it. There will be no ultimates from Malphite and Rumble for the next team fight. And Caitlyn's farming up top, so I'm not sure if who's gonna go after this dragon, but it still does look like pings are being made. And Caitlyn will look to get her back. Caitlyn is 4-0 with 12 out of 14 kill participation, highest of his team by far. Like Crixus is everywhere in the map right now.
Yeah, like Grixis has been the highlight of both games. He's been deathless for most of both games, like around 18-20 minutes. Last game also he was deathless. And the fact that he's able to do it on immobile like AD carries is a nightmare for Written in Blood because you see the difference in itemization also coming out. We saw the Storm Razor into Rapid Fire Cannon last time for Reckless Jr., but this time Crixus just straight up goes for an Infinity Edge. Those headshots are gonna blow their heads off because they're gonna hurt a lot.
Yep, and this time WY decided, you know what, guys, you can take the dragon, we'll trade it for the Eldo, for the Rift Herald, and that's honestly a decent trade, but not before they actually.
Oh no.
No, never mind. They do get. Oh, it's a beautiful ultimate from Rumble, right? They gets the other people. The Asher lands. The Morgana Q also lands. The Morgana ult also lands. Here comes Rumble. Here comes Nocturne. Rumble Nocturne combination. Here comes Caitlyn ult kills the Ash, and that's a triple kill for Crixus, and that's going to be DF just utterly dominating these team fights.
Yeah, this is a much bigger snowball than they even had last game. The fact that they're able to get the gold on all of their carries. Now the Zoe is also ahead a little bit of the Azir, even though she was trailing pretty much the entire game. The Rumble, beautiful ultimates. He keeps picking up multiple kills in the
Yeah,
fights.
and you can see another fight happening, but
Oh,
the flash had to be used by Zoe because Classical was like very, very close to just landing his own ultimate right there. And now they have to run away. Draxler will steal away the red buff before he will do that. And now the whole game, 8,000 goal lead. Crixus is yet again a monster. You give him any AD carry. If give him the Ashe versus the Caitlyn or the Caitlyn versus the Ashe, he's just shown up to be huge right now. Huge props to I Kill Van Gogh as well, who just outclassed his enemy support, I have to say. And a lot of these times with the right, Morgana shields and the clutch Qs on his side.
yeah, like it's really been for me at least a huge difference in the bot lane that's making the difference because the way Crixus and Ikil Van Go are able to shut down Reckless Junior and Mahakal is insane. This Reckless Junior Ash pick was done as a first pick to try and enable some sort of engage for Written in Blood, but like they're not able to fight on their own terms at all. Every time they try to take a fight, there's paranoia coming in, there's Rumble ult coming in, and the Caitlyn just sitting in the backline happily auto attacking and blowing, like getting the headshots in.
Yeah, and now with Baron being up, you have to just beg the question: when will DF want to do it? Do they want to catch another fight? Because they've been very successful in honestly keeping Classical in check. Couple of times he wanted to do something. Draxler was there on his face, mind you, and he was able to get the kills when it mattered. And look at this: the whole blue side map is being a dark zone for WIB because every ward is being cleared out by them. And now the whole lack of vision around Baron is going to make WIB wonder, hey guys, are they doing Baron? How many blue trinkets can you use right now? I Kill Mango still did miss out one, however, that is allowing them to still have an idea of what is happening right here. Blue buff gets stolen away by the Nocturne right here, and I'm not sure what Termi is doing, but Termi is finally going to go push bot side, and they're going to play a 4-1 on the top side and the bot side of the map right now.
Yeah, so Termi actually has the teleport advantage over the Malphite here, and given how much pressure Deimos have on the map, Termi should just be pushing down bot lane really happily while Deimos looks for a pick. They have the Zoe on their side, so they can easily bait and try to get a trouble bubble and into sleep, into paranoia, and just win the fight.
Oh, the Ashe
Oh,
ultimate does land onto the Zoe, followed by Malphite. Beautiful catch. And that's how you play Ashe. But look at the damage that he has returned. Crixus,
oh my
oh
god.
my lord, Crixus' damage with those crit items is crazy. Here comes Nocturne. I would be crazy to ult right there, but hey, they found Fiddle. Fiddle with a beautiful flash to run away, but followed by a
Oh,
brilliant Rumble Ult. Man, this guy is clean on his Rumble Ults right there. And that's another binding onto Mahakal and Crixus yet again. These crits hurts here because they get themselves 3 kills for the loss of 1.
I mean, whoever is playing Demon's Force next, they really need to look out for this Rumble. Every single ultimate has been on point, hitting multiple carries for Written in Blood. And this Rumble, even though his laning wasn't as great, his team fighting has been perfect.
Yeah, but that's Termi for you. Termi has been a great Rumble player, and also like Crixus as well. The amount of damage he's been able to output in this particular team fight has been massive. And now with Baron on their hands, this is a 22-minute Baron for them, so they are definitely much ahead of this game. They were 10th on goal rate in 25 minutes last game. They're 3 minutes earlier. They have the same goal lead, and this time, it's Termi who's also just massively ahead. He almost is close to finishing off his Rabadon's red cap, just 300 gold more, and he gets to finish that as well.
Yeah, it's actually insane how far ahead Termi is. He's almost 5k gold ahead now. He's gonna finish. Sorry, not Termi. My bad. Crixus. He's gonna finish his last deal item. He's gonna have the rapid fire cannon, and he's gonna be able to poke from such a range that this team comp is gonna start becoming about siege. And the minute Written in Blood step up to try and break that siege, the Nocturne comes in, the Rumble comes in with their ultimates, and they're just able to take any fight they want.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what can you do? Maybe a Fiddle ult into a Malphite ult onto Crixus might be your only way to win this, but it's just looking so hard with the amount of distance and protection that Caitlyn has for herself. Not to mention her flash is still up. And that's going to be the third dragon. So again, it's Mountain Drakes, 2 Mountain Souls in a row this time for DF right here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the game is thinking in terms of dragon spawns. I wish it had been something better, but hey, it's fine. Mountain Soul is just as good, not really, as the other souls, so we'll take it.
And
But
I think it's still better than Cloud Soul, I would say. Then again,
yeah,
depends on what champs you're playing. Because if you're playing Cloud Soul with Nocturne, I think that's kind of more broken. I'll up like a freaking cooldown 15-20 seconds.
I mean,
And Sleepy
Nocturne.
Tower Bomb lands yet again. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Mahakal is basically a bubble magnet at this point. He's been getting caught out a lot with the Morgana Qs. And look at this right again. The damage from the Caitlyn hurts. It's like Malphite had to build Mock Tails this game, but Kate's auto attacks, crit damages, they're just doing a lot of damage to this guy. And now finally they're doing the right sieges. They've gotten both the outer turrets. Will they look to get the inner turrets, the inhibitor turrets rather, is the question. Here comes Nocturne
oh,
right onto Ash right here, and they might be able to get it, but it's a beautiful return back right here. It's a nice usage of Zonya also, and he will not. Okay, he does die. Oh, beautiful flash from Draxler to not die, and Draxler is showing up huge in that team fight, right? The brilliant usage of stopwatch and then flash away completely negates the ultimate from Malphite. And they are not yet looking to get the inhibitor tower. My lord, why did they not use it? They could have just gotten it if they wanted to. But they will still look to get it yet again. And now Nocturne will finally be in trouble because he gets caught out by 4 people. Nocturne will lose the kill, but not before they lose the bot lane tower. So a lot of fights happening here and there, but still it's Deimos Force who's coming out on top.
yeah, I mean, they're not perfect in their execution, but it's much better than last game where they slowed down. Now they're already able to break the pace 25 minutes in, and that will matter a lot because say what you may, while this Caitlyn is really fed, the Ashe will start to catch up, and the Ashe is also going to be able to do a lot of damage. It's also about this fiddlesticks, right? He's stuck on these two items. He's finally got his Zonyas. He's not able to really make an impact on this game as compared to the Nocturne, who's constantly ulting in and creating like chaos in the backline.
Yeah, and then like you can see that now Zoe's poke is starting to hurt. Like Azir just chunked out to half HP from one half combo from a Zoe. And now the last outer inner turret rather remains, and it's gonna be 9mm who's gonna be like, I'm gonna take it, guys. And then let's just chill and extend our goal lead to like 12 and a half, 13,000 rather, which is kind of bonkers at this point. They're massively, massively ahead. Like
Yeah,
look at the difference in the AD carry. 2 items to like 3.5. He's an item and a half ahead. Oh,
he's
look at
almost.
this.
Oh,
Beautiful, beautiful damage. Look, Caitlyn,
but
man,
then
yet again. This time, actually, it's Morgana W that kills it. But on the other side, Zoe gets. I don't know if she gets caught out, but Zoe gets collapsed upon by Incarnation and Azir, right? Then they get a 1-for-1, honestly. And I think WIB would take that considering how bad things are going for them. A 1-for-1 there, it's more than welcome for them.
yep, but the Nocturne ult is up, whereas written in
Here
blood.
comes a
Oh,
flash ultimate, and here comes a flash stun. They are able to get the kill. Here comes the ultimate from Nocturne, but he just ults and
okay.
runs away. And a lot of flashes being used there to get the shutdown onto the Caitlyn. And the kill, yes, indeed does go over to the Fiddlesticks. So he's going to be happy right now. He can get himself a lot of gold. And I'm not sure that's worth, or do you think blowing 2 flashes for one is worth? But he had 1,000 gold shutdown, so maybe it is, if you
I
all
mean,
things considered.
not just the 1,000 goal shutdown, it's the fact that if they didn't make their play, then Nocturne would instead get the onus and be able to make the play first. And if like Deimos first make the play first, we've already seen how that goes. They absolutely collapse on Written in Blood and just take over the game. So I think it's a little bit about survival too and trying to get the Caitlyn down before she can just destroy all your structures.
Yep, Rabadon's completed, and he's going for a Banshee's Will. Next is Termi right here, and the Soul Dragon is coming in around 48 seconds. Krix has had Flash, mind you, and he chose not to use it in the last team fight. I'm not sure if that was. I think this got stun locked right there. Malf ultimate into silence probably did not have enough time to escape there. And Sleepy Tower lands onto Karma. Karma takes down, like, goes down to 40% HP right here. And now I think this is. I don't think WIB can fight, considering how behind they
Yeah, they definitely cannot fight, but they like maybe if Deimos Force step in the wrong place or in the wrong bush, could look for picks, but Deimos Force are moving as a group. They're completely coordinated. They're slowly moving their vision forward line by line, and now they completely own the WIB red side jungle, and they're gonna look for Soul Point.
Well, soul point yet again, but if last game has shown us that soul points don't matter that much, considering how this game might go to late game anyways, it's really on DF to not let this go to late game again because they have an insane amount of lead. Baron is up. I think their call should just be to do Baron, and they've already taken the inhibitor down, right? See, so this should be a easier close in the last game for them.
Yeah, this should be an easy Baron for them. Like, even if they don't actually do Baron, they just want to fight. They want to get people into these narrow corridors where Rumble is easily able to get off his ult. We've already seen how good Termi is able to find like his ults onto the backline. In narrow corridors with Rabadons, he's just gonna literally melt almost everybody on the Written in Blood team.
Yeah, he's probably like waiting for WIB to be like, hey guys, please come to Baron. I have an insane ult I'd like to use on you guys. But having said that, currently his bot lane has his teleport advantages, using to just push out the wave a little bit more. And now finally Baron has been started by DF right there. Let's see what WIB can do. WIB are choosing to back, so I'm guessing the Baron will eventually be given up. They are not deciding the contestants. Incarnation is looking out for something, but I don't think he can do much solo himself. Caitlyn has trapped the entire entrance of the Baron, so there's literally not anything he can do. Daxter is low, mind you, but he will be able to get the Baron, and this is going to be a Baron for Deimos Force.
Yeah, like that was really easy. I one point forgot to mention is how easily the Zoe as compared to the Syndra is able to zone people out. Like if they even try to step up, she can just put them to sleep and be like, "No, we're just taking this Baron. You can just wait for us." Now it's on Deimos Force. Like if they're not able to close with this Baron and Soul Point, then their closing abilities are really going to come into question.
Yeah, let's see how they are able to eventually do closes. So never mind, takes
Oh
just
my,
three. He
never
just
mind.
presses auto thrice. Well, that's one way to close
Jesus.
things here. He just presses auto thrice. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
that's
sort of the
slowly
story of the
ability.
game, honestly, Kratos is auto attacking people to death. 10 1
Right.
10. The only death he had was when two other people flashed on his face and altered him on his face. But other than that, this is still a much better performance in game one for DF right here. A much better close. Let's see what can happen. Fiddle ult onto Malphite ult. The Zonia from Incarnation. Draxler there. The ultimate from Trumble. Oh, creme de la creme right there. Beautifully played. Kate gets one more kill. 9mm wants his kill onto Azir. Azir like, you know what? I'm going to run away. Not going to give you a kill, boys. And Classical win enough. And I think the game
What?
is pretty much over. They are still trying to kill Classical, but they will not. Tries they might. Nocturne has died. This is going to be game. And now DF have made their way on to the semifinals here. Your thoughts on this game?
I think Deimos Force did really well to take out every single doubt we had with regards to what exactly happened in game one. I guess they were a little bit rusty coming into the fact that they don't have their regular player Rusty in game one and game two, and they showed that they're able to coordinate completely and take over game two because game two was a full on stomp. Like we wanted Written in Blood to have a little bit more agency from their draft. They did. They have the Ash ultimate, they have the Malphite ultimate, they have the Fiddlesticks ultimate, but Demon's Force is just like, no, 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 no. We get that you're trying to be better. We'll show you that we are better.
Indeed, and that's a great performance. And look at the damage dealt already. You can see how much damage Caitlyn did in this particular game, literally carrying. And I think MVP Grixis for the entire series had stellar games in both his matches right here. And now, convincingly, Deimos Force have made their way on to the semifinals, guys. That's it for this game. But guys, do not go anywhere because in just an hour or so, we're going to be starting with the second quarterfinals of the ACCL season 2 between L9 and NA Vanguard. It's going to be a cracker of a BO3 series, so just make sure you stay tuned for that. But for now, we're going to take a very, very short break, and we will see you guys in just an hour for the next quarterfinal. Till then, peace.